Western Spring Television, ours it is.
Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us on Morning Spring for today. And it is the last one for this week. We are so grateful that you are always with us, even on this day, the 19th day in the month of July 2024. And Femi Ojo remains my name. It hasn't changed and it's not changing anytime soon. Thank you for joining us here on Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times DTT, and also on our various social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube as well. Like, share, subscribe to that page at Western Spring Television. Thank you very much. And it's a blessed Friday. As a holy book, the Bible says, this is the day that the Lord has made. So we have no option than to rejoice and be very happy in spite of whatever, Evelyn. And I think you do that as well. Being happy,
Yeah,
being intentional
yeah,
about one's happiness. By the
yeah.
way, good morning.
Good morning, Femi. Being
Right.
intentional, being deliberate about your living. You
Mm,
are not just, living for chance. You are
mm,
living because you want to live and you're taking the necessary steps to
right.
achieving your goal. My name is Evelyn Ohiola, welcoming you to the last edition of Morning Spring for the week. It is Friday, TGIF. Thank God
Mm,
it's Friday. As you know, it's my best day of the week because this is when we get to douse the tension and we get to relax a little bit. Thank you for making it a day with us. And, you started your week with us and
mm,
you are ending your week with us. I tell you, you are the real MVP
right.
and you will continue to be so.
Yeah, very well. And of course, I think it's, I don't know, maybe congratulations are in order for the civil servants in Nigeria for the agreement. Why are you shrugging? Why are you crying?
No,
you know, 70,000 naira has been agreed by, I think, has been, yeah,
agreed upon
agreed
by
upon
the
by the
committees that,
government
yeah.
and of course both sides. And I think the labor has agreed as well, with maybe a little conditions here and there. But at the end of the day, what has taken like forever,
Yeah.
for months, really, started last year and yesterday, July 18, 70,000 naira was agreed. I think initial proposal from the NSA was 615
Mm,
and the federal government proposed 38, a
mm,
whooping 38,000 naira.
mm,
And then the back and forth started with both parties. But yesterday, 70,000 naira. Then you could see it's on all the front pages of the media, newspapers for today. And one would say, towards the evening yesterday, many conversations I had with people was if actually Labour was going to agree on 70,000 naira, why start with 615?
mm.
And if actually the federal government knew they were going to 70,000 naira, why start with 38,000 naira? These are the issues. But finally, 70,000 naira. But
Mm.
the question is, how consistent,
Yeah.
what kind of significant change would that make with our current reality right now?
Yeah, I don't want to say congratulations, but then it's good that we are done with these
At least
negotiations
there is a
and
figure,
we
an
are
agreement, yeah.
moving on. Yesterday I mentioned the fact that let's just get right into it and know what we are doing.
Mm,
There's no need for all this back and forth.
yeah,
Let's just give a number that both sides would agree
I
to and
agree on.
let's move on.
Mm.
70,000 naira, is it a great deal? I wouldn't know because, I'm not one of their workers. I'm
Yeah.
under the private sector. But am I
Mm.
happy that it's 70,000 naira? I would not divulge my emotions out. But then, considering the economic situation, I've heard
Mm.
some bodies reject that amount, saying it is too small
Mm.
compared to the economic reality. 70,000 naira is like almost more than double of what they
Yeah.
used to
The
get
previous
before.
minimum wage. Yeah.
The previous one was 33,000 naira. Now it's 70,000 naira. That's more than 100%
Mm.
increase.
Mm.
But the cost of goods and services in the economy increased by 100% or 200% or 300%. That's what we have to look at.
Right.
Also, the conditions of it being reviewed 3 years because they feel the money is too small. In 3 years, in 2027, maybe we won't start to hear another story.
I think that was a proposal from the president to say, guys, don't worry.
The government is always good at making promises. It's now them making good of their promises is where there's always issues. Remember the agreement between ASU and the federal government, how it lingered for years.
Yeah.
So I'm not really excited about the fact that Mr. President said in the next 3 years we're going to review it. I'm just indifferent about it.
Very well. But then Joe Ajero, speaking on a news program yesterday, News Chat said, that they're going to hold him by his word because they have a chance of a review before this mandate, this tenure of Mr. President runs out in 2027, because this is 2024. But then, good that there is a figure. But then, another thing is the ripple effect, the consequential adjustment of the ladder, and then the part of the state governance, because many persons believe, I'm not sure the battle is over. After today, we'll wait to see the reactions of different state governments who have been tacitly, some of them have been tacitly and indirectly, positioning like they can pay. We've had some state government, handlers propose maybe a reduction in the size of the workforce for them to be able to afford to pay these. And again, very importantly, Evelyn, is this part of the people and business owners, traders, because you might not be too surprised that from today, Evelyn, people must start adjusting. Traders, businessmen and women. We have that bad history in Nigeria that at the sound or at the sight, we don't have the sight yet, is the sound that we are hearing of an increase in minimum wage, and then you see consequential upward review of these things, even when the salary or whatever has not taken off. It is yet, the implementation is yet to start. You see our people saying, in continental, things are expensive, or just because we've had that the civil servant, going to be paid, a little bit extra. And then you see that if that is the case, if that happens, the value of that 70,000 naira will almost go back to what it used to be, the 38,000 naira, because when everything doubles, what will be the value for money? I mean, of course, the purchasing power of that particular 70,000. And so I don't know how the government or anybody or ourselves, we are going to rein in ourselves to say, please tone down whatever you are buying. And it has to do with importation, with transportation, because somebody will say if the import fee is high, transportation cost is high, you can't tell me as a trader to do exactly otherwise. And that's one part that we should pay attention to.
I don't think there's going to be any adjustment because the 70,000 naira is even below the reality of what we are.
Oh, you think the cost of things are going to remain the same?
Yes, I think so. Because the 70,000 naira is below
so happy.
What we the reality of Nigeria.
You know the idea of me too, I will collect my own, the way people do.
Well, let's wait and see, but I do not foresee any adjustment or upward review of prices. In the
that's good news. That's refreshing.
As a result of this.
Okay, all right. That would be fine as well. And of course, trust us to be on these matter. We will speak to the development in the course of the program. But right now, we take this break, and when we return, the papers are in. Stay with us. All right, let me kick it off from the front page of the Vanguard for this morning on the newspaper review and analysis. Minimum wage. Federal government labor settled for 70,000 naira OPS list conditions. OPS is organized private sector. With riders, we are accepting it with mixed feelings because of the economy. Okay. That's coming from Ajero, the NLC chairman, national chairman. Minimum wage law to be reviewed every 3 years. All right. I hope that is domesticated in our laws as well. Tinubu to submit executive bill to NAS next week. Okay, why not today? We can't. Okay, I think it's understood. Plenary doesn't hold today on Fridays, by the way. We can't pay without federal government support. OPS. Interesting. NLC holds next meeting today. Reps to expedite action on bill. Speaker Abbas. And something else run through my mind now and Evelyn when the president says he's going to submit executive bill to NAS next week. I initially said, why not today? And I remember plenary only owes Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Mm.
The National Assembly members doesn't hold plenary on Mondays and Fridays. So plenary owes 3 days of the week. And just last week, we heard there will be a review that the time for them to start plenary now will now be adjusted to 11 a.m. And then, interesting, if you understand what I'm saying, you only work 3 days. That doesn't mean that's all they do. They hold committee meetings on extra days, but plenary only hold 3 days. And then, for whatever reasons, they've shifted their plenary time, I think from 9 or 10 to 11 a.m. Right now. Yet, the emolument will not be touched. By the way, that's another kettle of fish. Olubadan stool. I am not opposed to large Georgia's ambition. Makinde. And talking about Tinubu meeting labor leaders, you could see the picture there. Joe Ajero of the NLC, Festus Osifo of the TUC, Mr. President there, all smiles. This beyond smile, laughing, so to speak. And of course, the Minister of State for Labor is there as well. Was there, Mrs. Nkuruka Onyejocha. All right. And after protest, federal government makes U-turn on 18 years benchmark for admission into varsities and others. Okay. FIFA rankings, Super Eagles drop one step, is expected, by the way. And top strip, why fuel price may double as subsidy cost rises. Okay. Why fuel price may double as subsidy cost rises. You can do the math yourself. Subsidy, there have been issues about landing cost. Almost 1,117 naira is what we are hearing. And so the price, an average price of per liter of PMS now maybe is around 700 naira or thereabout. And we are hearing that why Vanguard is reporting rather the price of fuel may double as subsidy cost rises. And now we are talking about minimum wage, 70,000 naira. So what will you, at the end of the day, in the next 1 month, Evelyn, what will they use that 70,000 naira to buy? These are the issues. All right, and Ndume, Akpabio has reduced Senate to federal government parastatal. Many persons will agree with Mr. Lukman. Lukman was an ex-APC chieftain. And CBN resumes dollar sales to BDCs, halt naira depreciation. Hardship, NLC CSOs unimpressed as reps cut salaries by 50% for 6 months. Where are the drums? Where are the party organizers? Our reps have reduced their basic salary by 50% for the support of the Nigerian people. Wow. Interesting. Impressive, if I must say. By the way, that will be all from the front page of the Vanguard. 6 months basic salary reduction by 50%. Evelyn, you should clap.
Why
for
should
your
I
reps.
clap? Why not reduce it for life?
Okay,
What 6 months?
right.
All right, we move on to Daily Trust this morning. Let's see what we have on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. Why we accepted 70,000 naira minimum wage. Labor. Government must cut taxes for us to pay. Private sector. Reps surrender 50% salary over hardship. Cut your allowances. Article citizens tell lawmakers. Saying the salary is not enough. We know that where the real deal is in all your allowances, the newspaper allowance, the hardship allowance, the wardrobe allowance, the transportation allowance, fuel allowance, travel allowance, what else? Coffin allowance.
Hardship allowance.
I already mentioned that. All right, Senate moves to establish LG's election commission. And Kano politician Dan Biliki handcuffed, flogged for criticizing Kaduna governor. I'll take that again. Kano politician Dan Biliki handcuffed, flogged for criticizing Governor of Kaduna State. Outside of Nigeria, Israeli parliament votes against Palestinian state. And Kenya win for Gen Zs as court suspends police ban on protests. Top corner of Daily Trust, JAMB pegs cutoff mark at 140 for varsities. And marketers to publish daily landing cost of petrol. Stop blaming FG for your failures. APC replies PDP governors. These are headlines making the rounds on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper for today.
And of course, from the Daily Trust newspaper, we move to the Punch newspaper. Minimum wage. NAS gets bill Tuesday as Tinubu Labour agree on 70,000 Nigerian naira. Federal government says minimum wage for review every 3 years. Labour leaders justify new salary. President directs payment of NASU SANUs without salaries. OPS reject electricity tariff. Interesting. NASU SANUs without salaries to be paid. Okay, one will say, how about ASU? You know, can we get to the point that the federal government or different state government, we just, do with all these emolument arrears of all these academic staff and everybody that's being owed, and will be on a clean slate? Is it not possible that we get to that point? That one ASU or one SANU somewhere will not come and say, we are giving them 30 days. Because this one that you're saying you are paying SANU and NASU. So what happened to ASU? ASU will be saying, okay, hold on. We are waiting in the wings. And this is disrupting the Nigerian educational system. It's not what we should be talking about in 2024, especially if we can spend 90 billion naira in subsidy for art. If our lawmakers can get 160 million naira worth of SUV each because of bad roads, we should do better. And of course, below that, you see pictures of labor leaders and the government camp as well, many of them smiling. Interesting. And the customs intercept 3.6 billion naira bulletproof jacket and drugs in Ogun. What for? Uni lorry student dies, others injured in campus crash. Sad. This is sad. 423 billion naira probe. El Rufai alleges bias. 6 case transfer. And APC knocks PDP governance. Military mobilizes against mass protest. Really? Hey. CBN resumes BDC dollar sales. Naira weakens to 1,570 naira per dollar. And reps plead against anti-government protest. Accept 50% salary cut. Who proposed it, by the way, for them to accept? Because they are pleading against anti-government protest. All right. We'll wait to see. Crude supply. Federal government continues fuel importation as reps probe IOCs. That's all that the Punch has for us in his front page.
And from the Punch newspaper, we head on to the Guardian newspaper. And just like the rest, the Guardian also is talking about the minimum wage, the newly approved or agreed sum for the minimum wage. Labour agrees to 70,000 naira as lawmakers slash pay for 6 months with the riders. FG organized Labour OK triennial wage review. NECA, MAN, others meet, ask FG to support businesses for easy compliance. And one of thoughts is they talking about the electricity tariff. You cannot keep increasing the taxes and expect us to, go along with this new minimum wage. And the Guardian is providing some analysis of the new minimum wage, telling us really if this is an improvement from what we have, before. Nigerians' minimum wage in dollar value, all right? Just like me, the Guardian likes to convert it to the dollars. 2019, the minimum wage was $88. 2020,
and it was 26,000.
Yes.
Then.
2020, it was $79. 2021, it was $63. 2022, it was $67. 2023, $65. And 2024, With this new minimum wage of 70,000 naira, it went to an all-time low of $45. Now, cost of 50 kg bag of rice in 2020, it was 26,000 naira.
Okay.
2021, it was 25,000 naira. 2022, it went up to 31,000 naira. 2023, there was an upward review of 55,000 naira. And in 2024, all-time high of 85,000 naira. That's to tell you that 150 kg bag of rice is higher than the national minimum wage. So
15,000 naira higher.
you get the analysis and you get the drift. Away from that, 50% windfall tax, shareholders dumps bank stock, seek policy reversal, fresh FX crisis, naira depreciation force CBN to resume BDC funding. Afe Babalola urges FG to close down mushroom substandard varsities. Others wraps in rowdy session over alleged link of opposition to planned protests. End of an era. Reading culture suffers as legacy libraries rot, vanish in states. And I would say that a lot of people now read online. They read from the comfort of their rooms.
Yeah.
They go to different platforms to buy books. Nobody really walks to a library to go get a book and sit down and read. So I think that may also be the reason for this. Also, we know that the reading culture has dropped drastically among the people.
Not just because of the access to technology, but because of the will to even read has reduced. Maybe different distractions, by the way.
Exactly. Away from that, Senate introduces bill to establish federal agency for LGA elections. And, if you remember what Comrade Fadawunsi spoke about, INEC organizing local government elections so that we can have a real democratic setting in the local government areas. Now, another issue would be people reacting to this. Is this not a waste of money? Is this not the federal trying to control the local government elections and all of that?
Independent Local Government Electoral Commission.
Independent local government that's another
That's
agency.
the proposal. Yeah,
so
that's the proposal.
So it's
it will be a federal government agency, but their responsibility is to conduct local government elections.
Why do we have to create another agency entirely?
Same thing. For a government that want to take on the Oronsoye report.
Exactly. When INEC conducts elections every 4 years, just save the normal off-season
just widen the scope
in the different states. So I think it's INEC can run this.
Yeah.
Why create a new agency? I mean, we talk about over-bloated government. The government just created a Ministry of Livestock Development.
Yeah.
People are saying, why is it not under the Ministry of Agriculture?
And we are seeing a proposal.
We have the Ministry of State for Agriculture. We have the Ministry of Agriculture. Now you're creating the Ministry of Livestock Development.
Don't forget, North Central Development Commission is almost here. We've had the Niger Delta Development Commission. Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was a push for the Northeast Development Commission. That has happened. Now the North Central part of Nigeria are saying, give us our own commission. And very soon, some persons will say, how about the Southwest as well? So all the regions, we have development commission, and we are still talking about funding. Now there are some persons are proposing that independent body, independent local government electoral commission will be established to see to the new development of local government autonomy. What exactly are we doing? And for a government and its handlers that are saying we want to streamline, rather shrink the size of the government, this will be like a ruse. More like you people don't know what you are doing, or better still, you know what you are doing, you are only playing to the gallery. These are some of the issues.
All right, very quickly, still on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Sean Jakpa syndrome, prepare for leadership. Olaopa tells youths, are you really giving them the space for that leadership if you really want them not to go outside of the country? Dangote refinery yet to be licensed. Operations not scuttled, says NMDPRA. And lastly, Ndume reps back demotion as Atiku, CUPP, others foiled attack on democracy. That will be all from the Guardian newspaper this morning and also on the newspaper segment this Friday edition of Morning Spring. We
Right.
go for this break. When we return, we'll be coming back to speak to the trending issue, the new minimum wage, 70,000 naira. Is it really worth celebrating, or is it something that the organized labor, should continue be on this case so that the federal government will know that the 70,000 naira is not really what the people want? We will be speaking to a major stakeholder in the studios this morning. Do not go anywhere. It's going to be an interesting conversation. Morning Spring will be right back.